Are you ready for your first flight? Just strap yourself in and we'll get started.
All systems active.
I've taken the liberty of looking at your credentials so far. You just finished your first year at the academy with excellent results. You did better than I did during my first year, and it's quite flattering that you requested me for your first flight. You also requested that we do a full walkthrough of pre-flight routines, instruments, checklists, anything really. Good. I did the very same thing before my first flight. It's a good trait for a pilot to be cautious.
Hyperdrive deactivated. Autopilot deactivated.
I'll go through everything with you, and we'll take it nice and slow. Let's be thorough. We can start with controls and settings. That's Form 1A. First on the list is controls and seats. That's the indicators over there. They should all be flipped up, which they are. If you flip them down, there, see? Let's flip them back up. Fuel transfer valves off. Can you point them out? That's right. All seems to be in order. Next item, intercoolers should be cold. You see them on this gauge. If you press these buttons, you switch between them. Like that. They are all within acceptable limits. This ship is a finicky old lady, but I'm glad they still use them in training. You get used to checking everything and get a better understanding of how small spacecraft works. Okay. Intercoolers are good. The gyros should be uncaged. That we do need to fix. Let me see. There. Fuel shut-off switches should be open, like that, and the gear switch in neutral. There. Next is cowl flaps. We can make sure that they work as intended, like this. Open right, open left, and locked. Turbos should be off, and they are. The indicator lights are over there. throttles should be closed. And then the dead man's switch. Let's activate it so the spacecraft picks up on it if anything should be wrong with its pilot. Next item. Idle cut in the off position. Like that. High RPM looks good. Autopilot off. I did that when you first came aboard. You should only use the autopilot if you know your craft well. If not, use your time actually flying it. You shouldn't have to rely on the autopilot because your own skills are lacking or rusty. What else? De-ices and anti-ices wing and prop needs to be turned on. Okay, good. Radio call and altimeter set to the space station, since we won't be going very far today. And the instrument panel. Let's make sure all indicators we've not yet checked are functioning. Looks good to me. That's the last point on the checklist. Let's quickly go through everything again. Controls and seats, checked. Fuel transfer valves are off, checked. Intercoolers are cold, checked. Gyros uncaged, checked. Fuel shut-off switches open, checked. Gear switch neutral, checked. Cowl flaps open right, open left, locked, checked. Turbos off, checked. Throttles closed, checked. Dead man switch active, checked. Idle cutoff, checked. High RPM, checked. Autopilot off, checked. De-ices and anti-ices, wing and prop, on, checked. Radio call and altimeter set, checked. Instrumental panel, checked. And that completes Form A1. Let's move on to Form A2, the engine's pre-flight checklist. This one is pretty short. The two indicator lights down there is the fire guard and call. They should be clear, both of them, which they are. The master switch for the engine is on. Good. Then we have the battery switches and inverters. That's the line of switches next to the hydraulics. They need to be turned on. Done and done. Hydraulic brakes must be turned on. Do you see the booster pump's pressure? It needs a bit of adjustment. I suppose you haven't been through that yet. all of them need to be in the green. We can adjust the pressure of each valve like this. And the next one. One more. Radiation filters should be open. There. And lastly, the flight indicator and vacuum pressures. The readings are to the left. Looks good. So, let's go through the checklist again. Fire guard and call, clear, left and right. Checked. Master switch on. Checked. Battery switches and inverters on and checked. Hydraulic brakes on. Checked. Booster pumps pressure on and checked. Radiation filters open. Checked. Flight indicator and vacuum pressures. Checked. That's it. Well done. You should make it a habit to use those 2 checklists before every flight, and you can catch many potential errors before they actually become a problem. And yes, the checklists are mandatory. So, are you ready to fly? Let's go.